Hello, my name is Josh Atkinson, and you have stumbled across my YouTube channel once again. So, welcome. Today, I'm going to do a time lapse of how I painted James Dean. Um, this is not the definitive way to paint James Dean. I'm not saying this is the correct way, the only way to paint James Dean, but this is how I painted James Dean. This is an 8 by 12 sheet of canvas, and this is oil paint. So, without further ado, time lapse time. Okay, so now here is our source image, the still frame from East of Eden, James Dean's first. Well, I don't know if it's his first movie, but it's his first leading role. And here you can see that I tend to start portraits with an adaptation of the Andrew Loomis circle. I don't know if that's a technical term for whatever he called it, but basically he would use a circle as a starting point for where you place the middle of the head. Um, if the head's looking back, looking up a bit, as James Dean is here, then the middle line moves up. If you were looking down, it would move down. It helps to contextualize the direction of everything on his face, the nose, the lips, the chin. But so anyway, I know that, well, I feel like you're supposed to lay in where the eyes are, and then the nose, the mouth, the chin, that, and I understand the logic behind making those proportions clear from the outset. I just find that for me, it's inconsistent. So what I've arrived at is to just try to get a, a strong likeness, but not a resolved likeness at the beginning stage. Um, I do try to finish a portrait within a 24-hour period. I don't know if that means that you can truly call it alla prima. If alla prima means like done all at once with no underpainting, no underdrawing, then I don't know, but I try to get a portrait done within 24 hours because you don't want to be, I don't know, everyone's paranoid about the layers of oil paint and what's curing and what putting something that doesn't have enough oil within it on top of something that's curing. I don't know. I do follow fat over lean, but I try to just finish paintings quickly enough that that doesn't become too much of a concern. So, yeah, I used to worry about laying in a painting with like a dark color, but as you can see that the circle got absorbed in the light colored paint behind it. There's a lot of colors went into this. I'm not going to name every color like the last painting, but you'll see that yellow ochre plays a big role in the door and in his sweater. Yellow ochre also shows up in probably every flesh color that I've painted, which would be every flesh color. I find that yellow ochre tends to manifest in one way or another. But I chose this image of James Dean because it really worked from a painting standpoint. In film, typically there's the main light, and then there's a fill light that kind of gets rid of most of the shadows, and then there's like what do you call it? There's like a backlight or something, background light, that helps to differentiate the subject from their surroundings. In fine art, you really just want it to be relatively high contrast. You want it to be the light coming from one clear source. Clearly, there's some fill light on James Dean here because it was a movie. I found that that ended up being a really great opportunity to use a lot of cadmium orange, which is a color I tend to always put out, but I basically only use it when I'm making a shadow tone for something that's blue. But it kind of it came in very handy on this painting. I will confess it was also nice just staring at James Dean's pretty face for all these hours. There's no denying it. He really was as talented as people say. I When I was younger, I watched Rebel Without a Cause and Giant and East of Eden, and I think the hype was just so much that I don't know, I couldn't quite appreciate him as much. But then this past year, I finally rewatched East of Eden, and I was like, oh no, this guy really did have a unique power as an actor. He deserves his reputation. One thing that I'm not gonna say I struggled with it because it wasn't all that hard, but it was just something that I was cognizant of was the dark circles under James Dean's eyes. I think he died at 24, so I'm not trying to make fun of anything, but I guess he had somewhat premature eye bags for someone so young. He would have been like 21 or 22 in the source image. But I think that's part of what makes him so attractive. I've heard it said that beauty is in millimeters, and I know from painting that getting a likeness happens in millimeters for sure. But I also think that part of what makes someone beautiful is an incongruity, like a flaw. Obviously, flaws are all subjective, but you know, it's just, I don't know, it just works. James Dean is, his mythology is that he's this like symbol of youth. He died so young, and the roles that he played spoke to uh, young, the angst of young adulthood, and it's just cool to think that he had this feature associated with middle-aged people. It just made him even more compelling, more attractive. Yeah, really like the way his Adam's apple turned out. Oh, and as I've said in my last video, I will be prattling on, so please do ask comments, ask questions, and leave comments so I can answer them. And there's the finished painting. So, there is, there's how I did James Dean. Jimmy Dean, Jimmy Dean Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean, which starred, yeah, nope, gonna forget his name. The star of Nightmare on Elm Street 2 was in Robert Altman's production of Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean, where Karen Black plays a trans man, if memory serves. Anyway, fun fact, or irrelevant, useless, but another example of the mythology that uh, this man left behind. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, I have not recorded the voice, the voiceover, so I'm saying again, like I know what I said. I don't know what I said. I don't know what I'm saying right now. But if you like this, please do click the like button. Please do subscribe, and I'll be back next week with another portrait tutorial.
is going to be great.